designing the Singer 1, it seems the intent was to bring a good solid machine to the home sewing market. It's got everything most users will need, along with some classical looking Singer graphics. Even the lines of this machine's casing have a classic look to them. The list of accessories you get is getting pretty standard in the industry. You might need to add something along the way, but this should get everybody started and probably handle most of their project needs. Unlike a lot of machines on the market, Singer actually gives us a storage space that'll hold everything and more. I know it's a small deal, but I like this feature. And you don't have to take anything apart to get to it. A simple push button release lets you pull it out. Another button releases the work table so you can get at the free arm. This free arm seems longer than most of the ones I have, and that should make it easier to use on more projects. One of the first things we notice is that this underarm area isn't the biggest there is. Singer developed a single path for threading this machine, and it works a lot easier. One way or another, they eliminated that take-up arm that we used to have to loop the thread around. The hardest part of threading this machine for me was getting the thread through this little loop on the needle holder. Then the thread is drawn under these two little hooks, and you can hold it up yourself or there's a holder on the side of the machine. I found that you want to push that lever down kind of briskly. You don't want to do it real slow. And it doesn't mean that you have to whack that lever either. While most bobbins these days are drop-in, this one has a nice feature that I really like. The hardest part of this for me is getting the thread started underneath that little tab on the race. Some smaller fingers might help this a bunch. Pull the thread up through the slot around this little ear and it cuts the thread off, and that's it. When you start sewing, the machine automatically picks up the bobbin thread and brings it up. I like that the cover is clear so we can keep track of how much bobbin thread is left. Wanting the bobbin on the Singer 1 is pretty much like all the other modern sewing machines. The thread path is real straightforward and explained in the graphic on the machine and in the instruction manual. Remember that the thread has to go all the way around this tensioning disc one time. Put the thread through the hole in the bobbin and then put it on the bobbin winding spindle. Pushing the bobbin shaft over to the stop disengages the needle system. Hold the tail until the thread runs up and down the bobbin a couple of times. Then you can hold the pedal down until the bobbin fills up. I usually stop winding my bobbins a little from the max so it doesn't unravel so bad in the drawer. All 24 of the available stitches are on the front of the machine and all can be adjusted to some degree. In most cases, the default settings seem to work best, but most of the switches can be fine-tuned to best fit your application. Do a little experimenting with this on some scraps and you get the feel of it quickly. While trying the Singer 1 out, I was getting some uneven stitch lines, and a lot of that's going to be me. Some of it's just getting used to how we want to set the thread tension. I ran some lines of stitches in materials that I use a lot in my work and got used to what kind of setting I want for that material. I was a little surprised at how crisp the decorative stitches are laid down. Using the default settings, the stitch came out nice in two different types of canvas and flannel. I didn't change any tensions or anything in between these stitches. The only problem I had with the Singer 1 was when I tried starting a decorative stitch right at the edge of some flannel and it wadded up on the needle plate. Like any machine, you got to pull the needle plate out to get that piece out of there and then start it farther from the edge, and that worked fine. I think the Singer 1 is a good all-around home sewing machine. It comes with a good selection of stitches, features, and accessories. You shouldn't have to add too much no matter what kind of projects you do. And I know somebody's going to ask, this won't sew heavy leather. There's a lot of people out there that expect they can get an industrial machine for a couple $100. In the real world, that's going to be a little different.